And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with Game 3 of Thunderbirds versus Build the Wall. Thunderbirds are up 2-0 in the series, and this is series point to decide who moves on to the semifinals. We will have to see. As the bans initially come out, we see Lee Sin once again targeting Dullahan. Not allowed to get that in at any point during this during this series.
They chose these sides again?
Yes.
Okay.
They elected to go, Build the Wall elected to go red side this one.
Dullahan continues to never get his Lee Sin, and I suppose JLC will never see the Ivern.
Well, I don't know. Last two matches, or last match in particular, you know, maybe they ban Keckles LeBlanc, or they try to first pick it away.
True.
We would have to see. Does Dullahan actually play the Ivern? Because if that's the case, they could say, all right, you pick LeBlanc or Ivern here.
Right. Interesting. Same bans as the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you present a good point. The dominating faction that Thunderbirds won in last game. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Rumble ban. He had some very decent Rumble ultis. LeBlanc ban, of course, pretty obvious.
Yeah, he was like 14-4 by the end of that game. It was pretty
definitely popped off when the LeBlanc had a very good early laning phase. Died that one time. I don't think died really at any other point later on. Besides good team fighting.
Well, they are deliberating on the Ivern.
All right.
To see.
2 more seconds.
They just choose to not ban, I guess. Interesting.
That means the Ivern's open.
That does indeed mean that the Ivern
Oh, but they're going
open,
to go for the Rumble first pick, like I said before.
Maybe
Safe top
Infinite
lane.
Rampage plays it. That may be the case.
Perhaps. Just it is a very safe top lane. Doesn't have very many hard counter matchups. Just basically always relevant, even when behind.
Well, Huni plays Riven into it a lot, but I imagine these players aren't going to be quite so
that's a little different.
And they're not Huni, I suppose. We have C9 Ray, but we do not have Huni.
Right.
They left NA.
They left NA for greener pastures. A little team called SKT.
Definitely very greener, much greener. More money with SKT for sure. So Immortals had venture capital, you know.
Right. Interested to see what they decide to pick here. Are they AFK or what?
That may have been why they did not ban. 1 second on the clock. The Elise and Tarek will be the lock-ins, unless that's a placeholder. And here's the Ivern Hover. JLC desiring
Getting
this
both,
pick.
Both the Rumble first pick and the Ivern.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Well, Dullahan has just left it up. He's elected not to play it. He's going back to the Elise that you know, he played pretty well with in game 1, so.
Those interesting flash cocoons not working out in the early game, but yes, the overall pressure exerted was very well done by Dullahan.
Oh, and it's going to be a Kha'Zix for JLC plays. He gets the opportunity to pick the Ivern.
And a Nautilus?
He doesn't.
Nautilus support?
I suppose it will be a Nautilus support unless Keckle's been practicing at mid.
Wow, yeah, they've been playing Nautilus support specifically to pick it away from Rampage, who has played at both games so far. He did play both games.
Well, how does yeah, he did. How does it play into Tarek, I wonder? And maybe they've seen the Tarek support and thought, well, I can pick an engage heavy, sort of weak early lane.
Oh, here goes the placeholder Nasus again.
Well, yeah. Funky does not have very many champions.
On his Smurf account, aptly named.
Perfectly.
And Rakan? So there has to be a placeholder somewhere.
That probably is a placeholder.
You know, we should just stop talking about camp select the very first time around. Just accept that there's going to be placeholders everywhere.
Yeah, probably.
I just...
Lucian is hovering, or is being hovered right now, so wouldn't be surprised to see that. They don't really have the good
Kog'Maw.
They don't really have that great setup for Kog'Maw, though, do they? And against a Taric and Elise, and whatever those are placeholders for.
I just realized they let him get LeBlanc
wait,
again,
Taric
even though
is
the
a-
very last pack. Yeah,
Taric is
Xayah.
Xayah. Wow.
First picking Xayah, interesting.
Well, they didn't really first pick them. Oh, okay, so it looks like because they forgot to ban, that last ban would have been Ivern, and that's why JLC didn't pick it. Perhaps.
Nice.
I'm sort of reading into that.
That actually is Zillion mid to deal with the LeBlanc. Now that is an interesting matchup that I think has no chance of being in the Zillion's favor, but you know, we can see how that goes. Now if Zillion gets close enough range to proc the insane slow onto LeBlanc, maybe you can get a gank off with the Elise.
Maybe you can. We will only find out what is a placeholder and what is not a placeholder after some time that they spend restructuring this champ select.
Oh, Zillion is Orianna.
Jesus, there's like 4 different placeholders on one team. That's crazy. Oh no, Rakan was probably a legit pick.
Right, they want to play Xayah, Rakan into Lucian Nautilus?
Yeah.
No, Lucian Nautilus.
Unless Nautilus was also a placeholder.
I don't know, man. We'll just see what the fudge brownies is going on.
Fudge brownies.
I
am a
want-
recovering fat person. Can't say words like those around me, I'll get triggered.
My bad.
Alright, we are getting back into Champ Select momentarily here. Just give us a few moments. Switemore has joined again. It wasn't TATT, that's a... Wasn't that a abbreviation for one of the other teams that was here?
That have been... no?
Oh,
No.
maybe... No.
TATA?
No, TATT. I thought it was like the Turtle
Nope.
Club or something.
No, well, there is a Turtle Club. They're called the Turtle Club.
TTC and TTD, yeah. My bad. Alright, we're back in Champ Select. Yeah, this is...
And I will just let the champion select go through, and we will discuss it once I actually know what everyone's playing.
Well, I gotta go look up what Xayah and Rakan's abilities are, because,
Oh god.
I mean, just one of the... I mean, I know what they do, but I don't know their names, and that's kind of important.
Ah.
And that's pretty bad. I thought maybe I'd get lucky and they'd pick one of them at once. Not both.
Right.
Okay, so... Gleaming Quill, that's his heal. Does some magic damage and also heals.
They have to still not ban anything? Couldn't they just ban all the A's? This is taking on a long time.
Oh, I have to restart the music. Because it took so long. Throwing shade at... Oh, they banned Alistar. They've got to ban him. See, Harkin was just AFK. So it was a Shen placeholder.
Unless this is another placeholder.
Double placer. How are you gonna do something like that? That's crazy.
Very carefully. I suppose we could start talking about the picks now.
We can. They are final.
Okay, so that's going to be a Rumble into Shen in the top lane. Like I mentioned before, Rumble does a pretty well into most top laners in the meta. Shen, of course, being one of them. Shen, however, has this interesting little tidbit where if Rumble decides to overheat himself and Shen decides, well, you know, I kind of want to go in, Rumble loses that. Rumble can only auto-attack. He automatically silences himself when he overheats. And when he can only auto-back and Shen can actually block autos, that's going to be the times when Shen can really take advantage and win trades. So in the top lane, if you ever see the Rumble overheat, expect to see Shen go in for a trade. And that's the kind of pattern that can definitely be exploited by a jungler as well. So we'll be interested to see how the jungle timings might go along with that. In the jungle matchup, we do have Elise versus Kha'Zix. That's a very volatile matchup. Although Elise typically has the earlier and healthier clear, Kha'Zix, of course, deals a ton of damage. And if you can catch people unaware, along with the extra empowered damage from being in brush, with his passive, what was it? Fear the Weak? Something like that? No, not Fear the Weak. Probably something having to do with Kill the Weak. Is Kha'Zix. But yeah, he can definitely get a jump on the Elise, deal a lot of damage, but a lot of that will also be mitigated by the fact that Elise's spiderlings stop the isolation damage from coming through as well. That's a big hindrance to the Kha'Zix, and he did wind up picking Kha'Zix into the Elise, so that's something he's going to need to keep in mind as well. In the mid lane, we have LeBlanc versus Orianna. This is, of course, typically a lane that LeBlanc wins, although Orianna is considered one of the safest options in the game, right? You can start shield as early as level 1. You gain increased resistances when you have your ball on you. You're very safe. You have a lot of range you can deal with, a lot of easy wave clear that does not put you in harm's way. So overall, this is definitely one of the more safer picks you can pick into this matchup. And along with the barrier she has opted to lock in for, that'll help keep her alive in the lane, even when getting ganked by the Kha'Zix. Now onto the bot lane. This is where things get interesting. Lucian Nautilus. Now this is a lane that is very volatile. Nautilus, of course, provides a ton of CC for the Lucian to capitalize on, but there's no escape. When Nautilus goes in, he's not like a Blitzcrank or a Thresh, where you hook somebody and you have a choice. Nautilus meets you halfway. He'll drag you to him while also moving to you. And so when Nautilus uses his hook for these trades, he's committing to them. Meanwhile, Rakan is very mobile. If he's the one getting hooked, he can choose to go in, he can choose to go out, he can choose to do a little of both. He's not exactly the best when it comes to all in, but his trading patterns kind of can keep up with Lucian and keep himself out of harm's way. So what's going to be most important here in these bot lane trades are who the Nautilus chooses to hook. If he gets a hook on the Xayah, that's pretty good. At the very least, you're going to get an even trade because the Xayah is not going to be able to run away pre-6. If he hooks the Rakan, Rakan still kind of has a say on what happens during that trade. So it'll be interesting to see how these go in the bottom lane.
I'm really interested in how this duet, how this couple is going to do in the bottom lane, honestly. This is the matchup we were waiting for. These two champions released at the same time. Well, they're on the same team now. I'm going to have to see what they can do.
Right, I am interested.
Actually taking notes right now to make sure I get their names right, but it's just really neat to me that we're finally seeing them, and they're coming out in, with their backs against the wall. Build the Wall only have one more game they could even possibly drop. You know, they have to win the
Right.
next 3
They have
matches.
to win this game. And yes, I'm interested to see just how experienced they are with these champions as well. Be picking them into match point like this, basically looking to start a reverse sweep otherwise. They definitely must have some confidence in their abilities to play these newer champions. And I'm also interested to see what the Xayah build is going to be like. I know there's definitely a lot of debate on what people build first on Xayah. Most people opt for either the Blade of the Ruined King start or the Essence Reaver start. I've seen Hurricane start. I've seen Ghostblade start. I've even seen some crazy things like Triforce. But there's a lot of options, right? The champion that's basically in the unknown has seen 0 competitive play so far. So your guess is as good as mine as to what these players plan on building early on in the game.
Oh, they even have the couple skin. Look at that.
Oh boy.
He's so cute.
And as we
I just
see,
wanna
like,
punch him in their face. I mean,
okay, as we see, like before, Lucian has opted for the Warlords, the safer mastery. He did it the game before to great success. Team won that one. We still have Lucian on. We still have Dutt on his Lucian. We still have Keckle on his LeBlanc, and we still have Brando on his Rumble. These were three players that did a very good job doing what needed to be done on their champions. Definitely displayed a mastery of the champion, a lot of experience on them. So I expect them to still play consistently in this upcoming matchup. Big unknowns, of course, are the Kha'Zix and the Nautilus. Gonna switch up these compositions. What Rek'Sai brought before that Kha'Zix will not be able to bring is the unique jungle path. Remember, Rek'Sai for the First Blood happened to come in the bottom lane, tunneling behind the tower, managing to get right in Caitlyn's face, blowing the flash early and managing to secure the kill. And that's not the same kind of jungle path you can typically take with Kha'Zix. You have to be very careful early on. You're going to be very squishy. Even when you complete your first item, you're just not really strong until later on, especially in a multi-enemy scenario.
it actually reminds me a little bit of what we saw from FlyQuest in the LCS, where they ran the Maokai support and Nautilus top. These champions aren't going to get as tanky as they would if they were top laners. You know, that it's definitely a little bit different in that case. So
Right. And looks like Dullahan never connected to the game. So interested to see if that's going to change anytime soon, because there might be a pause coming in, and I'm going to have to double check the rules, but I believe the pause is 10 minutes?
Well, I might just go back to playing music in that case. Rip Dullahan's PC. That's what the Twitch chat has to say. So is there a pause coming out?
Not yet. They're seeing if they can wait.
I assume we would have known by now, since we're 3 minutes behind. Somebody in Twitch chat would have said something.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Well, one thing we can talk about is the starting items. There's as the pause comes in. Shen's opted for the Doran's
Have 5
shield.
minutes.
Oh, okay. I may have to mute League because it keeps playing the...
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, League. What? Is that coming from something else? Oh, I muted the wrong thing. That's fine. Okay, well. Shen did start Doran's Blade, or Doran's Shield. Excuse me.
Yeah, let me look at these builds really quick.
So that's interesting, I think.
Well, the new Doran shield, we need to remember, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that's a new
Because the
one?
new Doran shield is a lot of passive regen instead of reduced damage from auto attacks like it used to be. Whenever somebody takes damage now, they gain additional health regen after the damage is taken. Of course, with all these dots coming in from the Rumble, if the Rumble can't actually deal a lot of damage, he's just contributing to extra health regen for the Shen.
Huh. No kidding. So does that trigger every single time you take damage? Because every single
After the damage, when you take one tick of damage of anything, and then the damage is no longer being given, it starts as soon as Shen no longer has taken any damage. So if he's taking Deathfire damage also, which is likely from a Rumble, it's after the last tick of Deathfire is done, the health regen begins.
Right. Okay. And it has the passive regen bonus anyways. It looks like 6 health every 5 seconds like it used to. And you actually deal more on-hit damage to minions, which is bizarre.
I wonder what wound up happening. He was in the game.
He was in.
He was able to.
He was able to
pick his champion. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we will have an answer shortly. Like you said, it's only a 5-minute pause time allotted, so in 2 minutes 40 seconds, if he's not back by then,
A forfeit.
Oh, is it a forfeit? It's not just you can play 4v5?
I'm not sure. Do you play 4v5?
I would imagine that's how it would have to be. Though it sucks either way, for sure. Just another challenge that Build the Wall must overcome. They've had their fair share of them so far. I'll ask the admins right now. So I'm sure
I already did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well, that's 1 minute left.
Indeed it is. Time is ticking. What a series. Yeah, no kidding. "20 seconds on the clock. It looks like Build the Wall will have to sort of play 4v5 until their jungler can reconnect. So
it looks like way.
Already starting at a disadvantage in this third game. Looks like the match will be unpaused now. No reconnect just yet. Well, in that case, we sure he didn't just say, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, he could probably just walk over and take the blue buff now. Knowing that there's actually no jungler, JLC could really just close this out if he just decided to take all the enemy jungle scamps, but, you know.
We will have to see how it plays out. It definitely will probably be early pressure in favor of JLC plays on the Kazakhs. Oh, are they actually giving the red buff over?
They're giving the red buff, yeah. Either that or they're starting it for him. They might be doing the fly quest strategy. I've seen a couple other teams do this where Kazakhs does the first bit of the Raptors? No, he's doing it wrong. But yeah, they were just leashing the Red and the Raptors at the same time.
Uh-huh. Well, he kept Smite. He probably could have just smote the Raptors.
Right, he's not supposed to do the big one. He's supposed to do all the small ones and then go straight to Red. Oh, which is what he did. Okay, he realized what he was supposed to be doing. Okay, he just did it a little late.
Okay. Well, at any rate, we do have some, you know, that's sort of the way it's going to be now. Level 2 early for Build the Wall on the bottom lane, but the Grand Entrance doesn't find anybody just yet. You know, it's interesting about Rakan. You got a little bit of everything besides, obviously, like, tank. You know, you've got a little bit of... Oh, a little bit of a gank top lane. But with Rakan, you've got a little bit of sustain with the Quill. You've got a little bit of CC. And you got a little bit of shield with the E. And then, of course, the charm coming out from the quickness as well, so... There's a little bit of everything.
The reason that JLC could go for that top lane gank very early on, half HP, was the fact, you know, he knows there's actually no chance of a counter gank.
Right.
It would normally be a very bad position for him to be in using his jump that early. The JLC is basically free to gank as often as he likes. Not a worry.
He takes a tower hit for his troubles mid lane. No summoners forced, but giving his mid laner a little bit of pressure there. Hook goes wide as Battle Dance comes in. Switemore is just gonna jump back to C9 Ray.
And you can already see that mid and top are also playing aggressive, knowing there is no jungler that could potentially come to them.
Definitely not the fairest of fights here, but Kekel missing some skill shots onto the Orianna. Funky going to be dealing some decent damage in return. But Infinite Rampage, Harkin not having much fun at all. Good answer from the Orianna, though. Waiting for those minions to clump up there and then coming in with the distortion. Getting word from our sponsor, Dave, that apparently Della plays at a PC cafe and sometimes they blue screen, which is not the best of times for that to happen. Kha'Zix is now making his presence into the bottom lane, flashing forward into an exhaust from Switemore. Means that they trade flash for flash, but they also blow C9 Ray's heal and, of course, Switemore's exhaust, so definitely an advantage for the Thunderbirds bottom lane. Nautilus trying to go ham in the bottom lane again, but misses the anchor toss.
We can see that Kha'Zix is now going for the other side of the jungle. He's got a refreshed blue buff. Romp, which of course Kha'Zix can easily clear away with the guaranteed isolation damage.
What is the little coin on the ground? Is that for the quest?
Yeah, the new support item. Yeah, we can talk about that. Actually, that's a good idea. With the newest patch, all three of the support items have received a new passive. Quest is what it's referred to. And these quests have different objectives. For the Relic Shield, it's not very interactive. It's just execute enough minions with your Relic passive, and you will... Uh-oh, a little bit of a engage.
Yeah, there's the root onto Switemore. He responds with a Battle Dance onto himself. And
Exhaust is burned.
yeah, the exhaust is burned from Cracked Apple. But it looks like the bottom lane for Build the Wall are not worse for wear off of that. They come up with the advantage. Cracked Apple, like you mentioned earlier in Champ Select, when you go in, there's not really much of a way to get out.
Right,
without taking half your health bar in damage, it seems.
And for the Relic Shield, when you execute a certain amount of minions, a certain amount of gold is obtained, you gain a passive shield, right? You gain a passive shield that recharges once in a while, kind of like how Rakan's current passive is. For the Ancient Coin instead, you have these actual literal coins that pop on the ground every once in a while when a minion dies, and these, and all into the bot lane.
Equalizer. Yeah, he's not going to go too ham on that.
They might go for the dive. There's a lot of minions here.
There are. Kha'Zix is actually walking towards the red buff, though. It doesn't look like they're going to make it happen. Though they definitely could. He's fairly low on health and doesn't have his passive shield up. Another trade in this bottom lane, though. Grand entrance, stunning Cracked Apple's Nautilus, up quite a bit.
And this is something that they don't have to do. They don't have to take the unnecessary risks. They can literally just, if they really want to just move on from playoffs, they can just not fight and only fight when, as you saw there, that was a bit of a quest marker.
Yeah, it looks like it.
They can literally just fight only when they have their jungler with them. They don't need to go for anything special. Just passive farm, scale up, and you win the 5v4. That's just what happens. But instead, they're going for these risky plays, and if one of them winds up dying, he could be in for a long game.
Yeah, much longer than it certainly needs to be, with Delahan out now. Keckle calling the jungler in for some more assistance against Plunky. Infinite Rampage now taken down very low. Brando may just well man up and dive him when his equalizer is available.
He doesn't even need it. The passive shield is down. Now he should go for it. Yep, that was the play right there. But I can talk about the Ancient Coin a little bit more. The quest that you do for it, as you saw, those coins continue to pass onto the ground. There are two kinds of coins, the gold and the blue coin. The gold coin, of course, like it sounds, gives you a little bit of extra gold when you pick it up. The blue coin grants a little bit of mana. When you pick up a certain amount of coins over a certain period of time and you manage to upgrade your Ancient Coin to the next tier or above, you complete the quest. That's the requirement for all three of these support items, is they must be upgraded along with completing the requirement. And of course, for the Frost Queens, which we are not going to see in this game, you need to get a certain amount of damage from, or a certain amount of gold from damaging the enemy. And after you get that, right, the quest for the medallion is you receive an extra elixir, and this elixir literally gives you a free ability point. None of the stats that come with a level up, but you're basically leveling up by gaining one extra ability. So if you can get it done, you can wind up getting an extra point you normally otherwise wouldn't have. Kha'Zix just crit the dragon right there.
Yeah, he's
that was
running
interesting.
1% crit.
Yeah, that 1%. For the Frost Queens, when you receive a certain amount of gold, oh god, this might be a solo kill.
This very well may be. Brando's dropped incredibly low. Is forced to flash away from Harkin's Shen.
These are the kind of plays that shouldn't be happening. Especially in a lane that favors the Rumble. Rumble should not be having to flash away here. Uh-oh.
Oh, there's the quickness coming up from Swipemore on top of the Shen ultimate. A little bit of miscommunication,
yes.
For sure.
Really.
As Shen ult is used on a retreating Rakan.
Well,
No. There we go. JLC
from
plays
mid lane.
coming in.
That was an interesting jump.
It was. He's going to flash forward. Force the flash from Plunky, who's now dropped incredibly low. The shockwave coming out along with the barrier. Oh, JLC Plays is actually taunted there. First blood picked up by Keko real quick. And now the hook out of Cracked Apple.
No flash, no taunt.
No flash, no taunt from Harkin's Shen here. He may wind up going down. There's the chain. It will connect. Ignite going down as well. And the depth charge to stun him up there. Make sure that he can't respond with any damage. But Keko has no mana right now. And Swipemore looking for some cheeky harassment. Not really going to find too much of anything. But the Ignite going down on the Shen for nothing is not so great there. However, they still do get first blood. So
we can see here that Xayah is going for the Blade of the Ruin King first. And that seems to have been one of the more common builds.
Well, good trying to dodge out of there, but it's anticipated by Cracked Apple, who simply walks up and exhausts. Doesn't go for any crowd control. It forces both summoners out of C9 Ray, as well as the ultimate there, Featherstorm. So not too much really in favor of the Build the Walls bottom laner there, the AD carry, but exhaust was used, so they at least know that that will not be up for the next skirmish.
So because Shen decided to go for that play to try and help out his bottom lane and his mid lane, he wound up losing the tower as Rumble held onto his teleport and decided to continue pushing instead. So that is now a gold lead, of course, in favor of Thunderbirds. Actually, they already had a gold lead because Elise can't farm anything.
Right. Of course.
More of a gold lead.
Now even more of a gold lead for sure. Kha'Zix's aiming for this blue buff, although I believe he did walk on a ward, so they should know he's doing this, but what can they really do to stop it? Ooh, that was...
That 1 HP smite. That is not no KT score. Smore.
No.
Smore would have been a better name.
Smore would have been a better name. Azir is a Smore would have also been a better name as Punky goes down.
Yep.
Shock gives herself a little bit of a sombrero there as she hops her way back to Fountain. Taking the quick route, the ARAM route. Oh, here we go. We do have a bit of an engagement here. Now JLC plays, dying to the tower after getting charmed by Swipemore. Look away for 1 second, and suddenly there's a dead Kha'Zix underneath a turret. And with Brando actually roaming down as well, not using the teleport just yet, probably saving that to go back up top lane. They're going to see what more they can do. Equalizer's still available, but they're not going to go for anything just yet. Now the Rebels sort of aimlessly wandering around towards Dragon. Shen recalling the
Not quite sure what the plan was. It might just be that they're not aware of Zayam Rakan's kit.
Perhaps.
Which is kind of inexcusable at this point. They've been out for weeks.
Yeah, but how often do you really see them? Probably all the time, actually. I don't play the game, so I don't know.
Yeah, when you have enough of those E couples around that like to change their names every week to be matching, trust me, you see this a lot.
Sounds terrifying. Just like watching JLC plays try and clear wolves. Terrifying.
Right.
At any rate, he will be gunning for this blue buff now. Smiting it even. He can restore some health, but he's just holding it for Kekel, who is on his way there. He's going to distort over. Missed the distortion damage. There we go. Kekel picked it up eventually. Hey, maybe we'll see Rift Herald this game.
Oh, well, yes we will.
Whoa, that's new. I have not actually seen this taken at all, ever. But it looks like now that there's no jungler, we can talk about that.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Rift Herald change. For those of you who have not seen it yet or didn't read the patch notes, Rift Herald...
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I need to stop reading Twitch chat. JLC, just know that you're going to get trash talk for quite a while after this game.
Probably. And here we go, Infinite Rampage flashing away, but JLC plays realizes, I don't have any mana. I gave my mid laner my blue buff instead.
So, the new Rift Herald, it's actually easier to take than ever before. It deals significantly less damage than it used to. We're probably not going to see multiple people execute to it like people did last year.
Aww.
But in exchange for that, what the Rift Herald now does is it's tankier than it used to be. Uh-oh, here comes another dive in the mid lane.
Flunky got no more mana to dish out damage.
Decided to hold on to both their summoners.
Yeah, you don't need
Interesting. Okay, so the new Rift Herald, what it does specifically is it's like an overpowered Zerath, right? It has more health than it used to be. Uh-oh, 2v2 engaged in the bot lane.
There is indeed both ultimates coming out from the two lovers there, but it's disengaged by Cracked Apple. Now the culling coming out as C9 Ray has been exhausted. Teleport from Brando, who has no ultimate, and a summoner has reconnected. This might be the encouragement that Build the Wall needs, as the Shen ultimate was used. Stand united. Now they actually are united with all 5 members. Brando dropped incredibly low, but C9 Ray not able to do too much here. Now flanked by Kekel's LeBlanc. This means 2 kills going down, as only the top laner now still around in this area. In fact, GLC Plays has come around, thrown down the Taste Their Fear for the assist. And that's going to be 3 kills picked up by Thunderbirds. And there's the Rift Herald you were talking about. Now it's going to be charging down this bottom lane as Elise is just trying to get some...
Okay.
Ooh, okay, that did a lot of damage.
Right. Okay, so yeah, that's what this thing is. It's a Zerath portal that runs down the lane, ignores all champions, can be CC'd, but has a crap ton of health. And every time it sees a tower, the first thing it does is kamikaze charge into it, lose a little bit of his HP, and now start smacking it around.
You don't say. They've already gotten 2 turrets off of this.
Wait, they're backing off?
Oh.
What? No, you stay for the rift. What? Okay. All right, they're all building tiers now. Is this a forfeit or what?
This may be a forfeit. They sold all their items to buy tiers.
All right.
Well, I guess we know who's winning this game. We already sort of knew anyways.
Right. Now, I was not aware beforehand that Thunderbirds had brought in an emergency swap and brought in Cloud9's mid laner Incarnation to DDoS the jungler. But, you know, wow, this is a team effort to run it down mid.
Hey,
this is
honestly,
new.
It's working out just fine. The sombrero coming out from the Orianna.
All right.
It was just a Nexus charge. They're using everything they can to get as close to the Nexus as possible. Oh, Delahan trying to run far away, but a flash from Kekko tryharding a little too much there. It doesn't even get an assist on the kill.
This makes me so sad.
Hey, man.
If Delahan had just stayed in base, he would have still had a better KDA than JLC while being AFK.
That is true.
All right. So we just, all right.
Well, it's okay. Run it down mid, boys.
Whatever you do, don't put the all chat on the stream.
Oh, should I? Let's go.
No, don't.
Why? Is it really bad?
It's bad.
Well, it's a good thing I disabled that. Speaking of disabled, Build the Wall is got no more teammates besides their jungler, who's no flash available. Still gonna try and get into the enemy base. Maybe wait for a minion wave to respawn and then rappel over. It's going for a fountain dive now. What are we gonna see out of the Elise? You know what? All eyes on the Elise. This is really all you need to worry about. Can she get around? There we go. Here's the attempt. Oh, Kekko actually recalled to stop this. Oh, well,
no.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Sad
Speaking of
game.
it, oh, I was gonna say maybe JLC would still have a lower KDA, but I just remembered Delahan just died.
Yeah. Fortunate game.
Somebody needs to get that clip of Faker saying unlucky.
Yeah. This is an unlucky series. Started off with a little bit of a interesting decision to field subs that were not approved. And then a game 2 stomp in favor of Thunderbirds and
Wait, she just got a kill off of just the... That's funny. Oh, they're gonna make it. They're gonna do a touchdown. You guys are gonna lose the game.
Oh my god, they've done it.
Oh no, they managed to make it in. Build the wall. Cracked the. They climbed over the wall into the into the fountain. Well, there's the surrender coming out. Build the wall. They lose this match, but they are winners in our. Well, actually, no, they're not even winners in our hearts. They're just, they lost. And that's the end of that series. That very unlucky, unfortunate series.
Yeah, that's, this. Just put that in the Discord really quick.
Put what in the Discord?
Nothing.
Was it funny?
That's going to be the end of the game.
Well, it's fitting from that person, just based on their name. I like that. Well, you know. See getting out jungled by enemy turret. Oh, my lord. Well, you know, if your name is Plunky, there's probably a reason.
Ooh, alright.
That's it. I think that's the end of the stream. I don't think we can really do much analysis on that, you know? So thanks for joining us. I'm going to put the music back on and end the stream in like 5 minutes. So, mwah. Bye-bye.